Okay. Right, guys. I'm just recording this for the people that aren't with us. All right. So we've looked at that idea of perspective. Okay. So perspective being how the author or creator looks at the issue. Okay. And I'm just summarising this and putting this up on screen for those guys so they can see it. So what I've asked you to do then is to look at Tacitus then, and let's come up with specifics of these for Tacitus. So the things, the influences, the things that shape his perspective of what he's writing about. So in this case, what shapes his perspective of Nero? Okay, rightio. So for Tacitus, what have we got? And here we need specific things. We don't just say, oh, you know, he was from a social class. We need to be specific here. Okay, right, what have we got, Zach? Okay, so we know that he has a bias against the imperial system. Now, is that perspective or is that his point of view? All right, why is it his point of view? Okay, so this is his point of view, all right? And that's quite correct. He was biased against, not towards, he was biased against the system. But the question then is why? So what is it in his perspective, what is it in the way that he looks at this, at the reign of the emperors, that shapes what goes on there, Ryan? Okay. So why? He's from the senatorial class. Okay, well, big deal. So he's upper class. But why would he have that bias then towards the emperor because of his being in the upper class? That? Excellent. Right, cool. What do we got, Nathan? Finger in the air like you just don't care? Yep. All right. So he is well educated. We know that because he wrote a number of books. The most important for us is the Annals. The Annals. Okay? Cool. What else will shape his perspective? If he's from the senatorial class, how might that affect his opinion other than he loses power? Yeah, okay. So he's in a powerful social class. We know that he's cut back from limited. Cool. What else, Ryan? Okay, so he's wealthy. Rightio, we know that because he's a writer. That's how he makes his living. But what else? Again, let's try to get specific here about Tacitus. As a member of the senatorial class, what else is he doing? All right, good. So he's influenced by other senators. What else? What makes him able to make judgments about power and the way people use power? Yeah, he's an author, yeah. Yeah, what else? Yeah, okay, so he's an historian. Looks to inform others about the past. Yeah, that can shape his view. But if he's a member of the senatorial class, what's that imply that he does? If he's a member of the senatorial class. Zach, what do you reckon? How? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Good. Yeah, pass bills. So he's, yep. He influences people, so he might speak in the Senate and stuff. He's a politician, okay? He's a politician. So he's used to working in this area and this field. He gets, so he's a decision maker to a degree. All right. All right, anything else? Okay, that's all right. So that's not bad, guys. So what you're doing there then is you're going back to and looking at your author. You're using the source context statement at the top of the source, but you should go beyond that. You should have more of an understanding of who they are to help you interpret what they're doing. Because what we're doing here with analysis and using the features of evidence, we'll also use this when we come to evaluate our sources, how reliable they are and how useful they are to us. Okay? So this is where we're going to come back and use this again in a week or so's time when we start looking at evaluation and more closely at evaluation. Okay, so what I want you to do now, with that list of things that you've got, and you may have and probably should have added to it as we go through, with those more specific examples for Tacitus, go back and look at the source that we've been working on for that practice task 2 and look for examples in the source that show these elements of his perspective. All right? So I'm not asking you to look for examples of him being biased against the emperor, but where can we see things like his social class coming through or his political beliefs coming through and things like that. So it's not just necessarily the explicit meanings and things that he's using, but it could be the language that he uses. All right? The words that he uses to describe what's going on. So just have a bit of a look at the source and we'll come back in a moment and we'll have a chat together and look at that, all right? So what we're doing here now then is we're going to that third point in the marking guide about using evidence to discuss and to show the features of evidence in there, okay? Rightio, so have a little look at the source, try to find examples of where we're seeing his perspective coming through in the source. Okay. So what do we got? Where are some examples out of the source there that we can see Tacitus's perspective coming through? Right? Okay, so there we're getting a real idea of his gender, okay, obviously as a male. And Roman society had certain opinions on how women should act and behave, all right? And Agrippina sort of broke the mould of that. She didn't act the way that a traditional Roman woman should, okay? So there we can see Tacitus's values come through in describing her, you know, in such a negative fashion. All right? Cool, good, well done. What else have we got? What have we got, Nath? Yep. Where are we at there? Yep, some believe the pressure to do so had been applied by the emperor. Rightio, so what's that showing us about his perspective? Okay, good. So that's his point of view there, but also that point of view is being produced by the fact that he's a member of the upper class, okay? That basically Nero is now gave gifts to his most important friends. Large blocks of land owned by others were divided and given away. So the emperor's coming in over the top, taking land off people and just giving it to his friends. Okay? He's abusing his power. So there we can see Tacitus's social class being displayed. All right? He's critical there. He's critical here of the actions of the emperor. Okay, so it's an example where his social class is coming through. Okay, what else have we got? So he makes the comment there, he placed the powerful in his debt. What's that? So there again, he's been critical of Nero. Okay. For abusing his power. So again, that's where we see his senatorial background coming through, that elite background, all right? And he believes again that, you know, Nero's abusing his power and basically trying to manipulate the system and manipulate people to get his own way. All right? So what I'm trying to get you to think about here, guys, is thinking about the characteristics of our writer and what they write, okay? So how the characteristics of the writer produce perspective, give the author their perspective of the event, and how that affects their opinion, okay? The thing that I want you to take home from this is that the difference between perspective and point of view, that's the first thing, okay? And to understand how one creates the other, okay? Rightio. I want you to write for me now 2 sentences that summarise Nero's point of view, not Nero's, Tacitus's point of view of Nero. What is his opinion on Nero that's shown in this source. You need to be specific. So you don't have to use direct quotes. You can just use the ideas that come out of the source. All right? You're going to use the explicit ideas that come from it. Maybe the implicit things, the things that are implied. 2 sentences, go. Tacitus's perspective shows his opinion of Nero to be blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's just about time to go. So you're going to finish those 2 sentences for homework. Then what I want you to do, and this is where we'll pick up tomorrow, I just want you to have a look at source 2 and just do what we've just done there in terms of trying to, so this is the top, so this is just further up on the page there. So this is the source we used for the practice task that we wrote together. I want you to go back at this and look at how Tacitus' perspective comes through in this source. So I'm going to get you to do exactly the same thing that we've just done down here with this one. So we've got the list of his perspective already, the things that influence his perspective. Apply that list to source 2 there, just to practice that skill, okay? And that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. Tomorrow's lesson, I'm also planning on hopefully having the results done, just based on the fact that Mr. I and I get a chance to do some cross-marking, but you should have some results from yesterday's task tomorrow as well, okay? And that's going to be important feedback because the lesson after tomorrow is when we do our part B, okay? Rightio, good on you. Keep going at it. That's good. There's some good thinking going on here. Bravo.